If you've been wanting to set up OpenClaw but felt overwhelmed by the configuration, this is the video that's going to fix it. Now, the setup used to be pretty technical, but I'm going to show you a way how to get this up and running in minutes without actually touching the terminal. I'll walk you through the full setup, the security mistakes that most people make, how to connect it to Telegram, how to add skills and automation that actually make OpenClaw useful, and how to fix the memory problem that trips almost everyone. And as always, all the resources will be listed in the description down below, so make sure to get them to follow along. With that being said, let's get into the installation. Okay, so first things first, definitely do not install it on your local computer, as it will have access to your files, system permissions, and potentially sensitive data on your machine. And since OpenClaw is designed to run automated tasks and interact with external services, it's actually much safer to keep it isolated from your personal environment. And for that reason, the safest option will be to actually deploy OpenClaw on a VPS. A VPS is basically a remote server that stays online 24/7, so your OpenClaw keeps running even if your computer is turned off. The VPS I'm currently using is from Hostinger, which they kindly sponsored this video, and they gave a generous discount for you guys. Okay, so let me show you how to set it up in a couple of minutes. So grab the link in the description down below, and you will end up in this page where you can actually see that they introduced a one-click, beginner-friendly OpenClaw setup that literally saved me hours of manual terminal configuration. For the plan, I'm going to select this option here, which gives us 2 CPU cores, 8 GB of RAM, 100 GB of disk space, and 8 TB of bandwidth, which is actually more than enough to have different agents running different automations. So choose a plan. You will redirect it to the billing page. You will see options here for 1 month, 12 months, 24 months. Overall, the 24 months, it will end up being the cheapest one. In case you select the 12 months and the 24 months, you will be able to use the AI Builder coupon, which will apply a 10% discount to the already $393.58 that you already save. So you will see that this option will auto-deploy OpenClaw in a couple of minutes. In case you don't want to go through the API configuration, you could select this option that will configure the API keys out of the box. But what I highly suggest to is actually select this daily auto backup option, which for extra $6 a month, it will back up your data every day so you could easily restore it. Next, you should choose the location closest to you. Then click continue. You will be prompted to create an account. Then you will go over your billing details and click continue, and you are ready to go. Okay, so the next thing, if you did not buy already the pre-configured API service, you will be prompted to add your own API keys. And I would suggest either go with Anthropic or go with OpenAI. They are the most powerful models and perfect for OpenClaw. So I will go ahead and add an OpenAI API key. Let me quickly show you how to do that. So you will go to here, platform.openai.com. You will go here to where the API keys are. You would create a new API key. Let's call it OpenClaw. Then you should copy that key and make sure to also add a budget so you don't have any API surprise costs. Once you add your API key, either it's OpenAI or Anthropic, it's actually the same process. You will click deploy, and in a couple of minutes, you will have OpenClaw in an isolated Docker container on the server, which will be completely separate from your personal files and data. So even if something goes wrong with the agent, it will not be able to touch anything outside of its environment. So here you will have your gateway token, which will enable us to access OpenClaw and configure everything without touching the terminal in case you don't want to. But in case you actually want to access the terminal, click here, and you will be able to use the terminal from here. Okay, so now we are able to access OpenClaw. What we would need to do is copy the gateway token from here, open and paste it here. And here comes the first security risks. The gateway token gives direct access to your bot. Don't paste it anywhere that is not safe. You should actually save it in a secure password manager as you would save all your other passwords. So now you are able to log in, and here we have OpenClaw that we are able now to configure. Before we move and configure anything in OpenClaw like Telegram and so on, it's very important to understand where to actually store all your tokens and all your environment variables. If we go back to Hostinger and open your Docker project and click manage, here you should be able to find your environment variables. Here, as you can see, I have already my OpenAI API key. Now, in case, let's say you want to add Claude, you want to add Anthropic API key, you would click environment, you will write the name, and how I suggest that, you just open a chat and ask what's the standard environment name for Anthropic, for example. And this is important to actually get the right name. So this is the standard name. We should copy it and click here and add our value, then click deploy. Later, we will also need the environment variable for Telegram. So this is where you should always add your API keys, your tokens, never paste them here because it's actually not secure. All right, now that we are inside OpenClaw dashboard on the browser, you will see here that the connection says not secure. And one important thing to understand, and another security risk, is when you access the dashboard in the browser, it runs currently over HTTP and not HTTPS. That means your token is technically sent in plain text. Do not log into your dashboard on public Wi-Fi. If you want extra protection, use VPN, but for a production grade setup, you would need to connect it to a domain or put it behind a reverse proxy or something like Tailscale. Now, if you suspect that your token got exposed, assume it was, so you need to rotate it. But soon we will connect Telegram to OpenClaw, and that will not be an issue. Just do not access OpenClaw from the browser using this URL in public Wi-Fi. Now, before we go ahead and install any skills or create any automations, we actually need to do something very important to tell OpenClaw who it is and who we are. And OpenClaw has actually 2 key files that shape how it behaves. And where you find this file is if you go to agents. Here you will see your main agent, and here you will actually see all the core files that run in each session. And there are actually 2 key files that shape how it behaves. So first one is the identity file, which is basically the bot's personality, how it talks to you, its tone, its boundaries, and so on. And the user file, which is essentially information about you, like your name, your time zone, goals, and preferences. Now you could go ahead and update those files manually, but the easiest way to do it is actually let OpenClaw interview you. So now we can go back to the chat and OpenClaw interview us. But before we do that, you might be wondering, what is this here? It says, read the heartbeat.md file if it exists, follow it strictly. So what essentially this heartbeat.md file is, so if we go again back to our agent and here in the heartbeat, so think of it as an alarm that fires every 30 minutes and reads any instructions we have in this file and executes them. And the typical use case would be check my emails and notify me if there's something urgent, or notify me when I have an important meeting. You could actually go ahead and configure this file. It's just important here to note that because it fires every 30 minutes, if you use an expensive model like Opus 4.6, it can cost you a lot of money. So what I suggest, use an inexpensive model to actually run the heartbeat. And how you would do that, you would actually just tell OpenClaw to do it for you. All right, let's go back to the chat and let's now tell OpenClaw who it is and who we are. Here is the prompt that I'm going to use. I need you to update your identity and user file with important long-term information. Ask me a series of questions so you can fill this in properly. Okay, so here you can actually see it start essentially asking questions. Go ahead, spend some time, do this as early as possible, because after when you do the automations, when you install skills, when you connect it to the Telegram, everything will work much better when the bot already understands more things about you and your context. So there's actually another file called sol.md, and this goes a bit deeper on how the bot should operate. So core principles, values, and so on. The default one is actually pretty solid, but you can go read through it and change or add anything that you might want to add. But yeah, do all of that as early as possible because the output will be much, much better. Okay, so now that we taught OpenClaw who it is, who we are, and how it should help us, we need to go through some security measures. If we go to the OpenClaw official security page, they have a pretty excessive article describing all the security risks. And I suggest just take a look at it, read it, so you understand everything related to security. But what we will do now, we will just take this link, go back to OpenClaw and ask it actually to read this article and implement everything except, and this is very important, except this basically command. If you remember, we talked before about that this dashboard runs or on HTTP and not HTTPS. So if we go ahead and implement everything from that article, it will actually block access to this dashboard. If this happens to you and your dashboard is blocked from accessing it through HTTP, you should consult Opus 4.6 and it will help you. You will probably need to go back to the terminal to do some terminal action there, but it's actually super easy. But this command should prevent you from having the dashboard blocked. So if you click send, it will come up with security audits. It will ask you some questions. You should answer all of these questions. I suggest running the security audit regularly, especially after a major configuration. But after we configure Telegram, you would not need to use it through the dashboard anymore. You will be able to use it through Telegram and it will be fine and you should not have any issues. Okay, so now let's connect Telegram to OpenClaw. And what we need to do now is to obtain a Telegram token. So how we do that, you go to Telegram. By the way, I connected a new number to use specifically with OpenClaw. You could use your real one, but I suggest create new accounts, create new numbers to use specifically for OpenClaw. All right, so what we need to do, you would need first to search botfather. Make sure to click on the official one, click open, and you will end up in this screen. Then you would need to write this command /start. Then it will give you this menu of different things that you can do. You will click new bot. Then it will ask you to give a name to your bot. So give it a name. I gave it Joanna AI. Then it will ask you to create a username. Important here that a username always must end in bot. So I gave it here my username. And here essentially is your token. This token is just for you. Don't share it with anyone. Store it in Passport Manager. And in case you think that it's got compromise, just create a new token. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to copy now the token, go back to our OpenClaw Docker. We need to click on manage and add the token into the environment variables. So here, if you click on the environment variables, you would need to add here the token and paste here the value. and click Save and Deploy, and it will take a couple of minutes to deploy. And now essentially if we go back to our OpenClaw dashboard, we will ask to help us pair Telegram. So simple, hey OpenClaw, you have my Telegram token in environment variables, and now we need to go through the pairing process. Please help. So here it came up with some instructions. We need to provide OpenClaw with the Telegram user ID and a pairing code. So how we do that? We go back to Telegram, open our bot, click Start, and here we have our user ID and our pairing code. So we just copy that, go back to OpenClaw and paste all of that here. Now it will do its magic. Okay, great. So now it got paired, and we actually want it also to allow to reply to groups. So I would just tell it, yes, allow also groups. Okay, now it configured to reply also to groups. As you can see here, it will only respond to groups when actually mentioned. But in case you want it to respond to anyone in groups, you should switch the group policy open. All right, so now that we paired Telegram, we can actually just use Telegram to communicate with OpenClaw. It will be more secure because all the messages will be sent through the Telegram's API rather than the exposed HTTP dashboard. So unless you connect the dashboard into the main to have an HTTPS secure connection, I suggest just use it through Telegram. All right, so here I have the bot, and now I don't know about you, but I don't like typing. I want to send voice message to my bot. So let's go ahead and tell it to enable that. So I will just write enable speech to text. I should be able to send you a voice note and you should be able to transcribe it. Now, as you can see here, it actually enabled it. I sent it also a voice message and it was able to successfully transcribe it. Okay, so now that we have enabled voice transcription on Telegram, the next step is to give OpenClaw superpowers. And how we give OpenClaw superpowers is by creating or installing skills, because without skills, OpenClaw is practically useless. And if you wanted to chat with an LLM, you could just use ChatGPT or Claw. So if you go back to the dashboard, you will see actually that OpenClaw comes already with pre-built skills. If you go here to the skills, you can actually see all the 51 skills that are pre-built. You could check what makes sense for you and enable the ones that you want. Here you could also see the skills enabled for the particular agent. But also what I suggest is to go to ClawHub AI, which is essentially a directory for OpenClaw skills, which are created by the community. You could also tell it to install this skill library, and what the agent will do, it will actually install any skill that will make sense based on the use case. So yeah, so here you can actually see all the highlighted and popular skills. Let's say if we go to this one, it's a Google Workspace CLI that you will be able to access your Gmail, calendar, and all of that, and so on. And here, this is the most important part. So here, the scan for vulnerabilities, for malicious code, for viruses, and so on. And this is very important also to note that actually this skills is created by the community. So they actually found like hundreds of skills that contain malicious code that are essentially not secure to install. So it's very important to actually look into this security scan here and only install skills that are essentially safe. So first of all, how you could install a skill, you could just copy the URL, go back to OpenClaw and tell it first, scan this skill for any security risks. Then it will scan it and it will tell you what are the riskiest part. So in case you want to install it, you would just tell install the skill. Now, for extra security, I want to also recommend you to install this security skill suite for OpenClaw agents. That will protect all the files from prompt ejections. It will give you live security recommendations. It will do basically security audits and verify essentially the integrity of skill. So highly suggest you to look into that. Then you can just go to GitHub, take the link and just tell OpenClaw to install it. So very useful tool to prevent you from any malicious skills that you download and execute. So another common issue that people run to with OpenClaw is memory. So there's a lot of things that OpenClaw already saves for you, and you can see actually what it saves here in the memory file and modify them. The reason we don't have anything here because this is a fresh account that I created just for demo. So besides the memory.md file, which essentially will save everything important that it needs to remember for each session, it will have also daily log files, which are not shown here. But over time, it can start forgetting things. And the reason for that is how context works. So as you keep chatting with the agent, the conversation history will fill up its context window. And when that happens, OpenClaw automatically runs something called compaction, which basically summarizes older conversations to save space and reduce token usage. And the problem with that is that during this compression process, the agent can lose very important details from the earlier conversation. So to fix this, we can actually use a prompt that tells the agent to save important information into a memory file before the compaction happens. So that way, even when the conversation gets compressed, the key details are stored permanently and nothing important will be lost. Okay, so this is the prompt. So I will also have the prompt in the description down below. So you will just tell it, enable it, and it will go ahead and enable it, and your memory will become much better. So there's actually a lot more going on with memory, and there's many ways how to make it even better. But the main idea is to actually make sure your agent stores important information before the system summarizes your conversations. I will also leave another resource for specifically memory, so I suggest just go ahead and have a read. All right, so now that we made OpenClaw remember things, let's make it act on things. So there's something called cron jobs, and what it does is essentially allows OpenClaw to do something at a particular time. Let's say every morning at 9 a.m. I want ClawBot to remind me to take my supplements. And if you remember, we also spoke about the heartbeat.md file, and the difference between that is that a cron job runs on a particular scheduled time, while the heartbeat runs every 30 minutes and checks for things that needs to be checked every 30 minutes. So how you will create a cron job, you will just tell it. As you can see here, I told it, hey, OpenClaw, please every day at 9 a.m. remind me to take my supplements. So it went ahead and it scheduled, and here it created basically this cron job. And now every day at 9 a.m., it will send me a message to take my supplements. So yeah, this is the way to set up something that you want OpenClaw to actually do for you at a particular schedule time. So that's your OpenClaw setup, guys, from zero to fully running AI agent. Now, this is just the starting point. Once you have this running, you can start building automations, adding more skills, creating dedicated Telegram groups for your workflows, and really shaping OpenClaw into something that will save you hours. We'll go deeper and cover more advanced setup in the next videos. So make sure to subscribe and like this video, and I will see you in the next one.